Hello, you're listening to Lists and Other Things That No One Asked For with Jesse Barbin, a mini podcast where stuff usually takes the form of a list about pop culture, music, growing up. So, I hope you like it. Hey everyone, I hope you're doing okay. It's another episode. Doing alright. Worried about prices going up if I'm reading the news. It just makes me think of my struggle to I feel like ever since I graduated high school, it's been you're supposed to get into the middle class, and I've been a struggle to get into the middle class, working and nothing seems to work. I feel like that, on Ghostbusters when Louis Tully is being chased by the demon dogs, and he's trying to get into that restaurant, and he's like, let me in, and they just look at him, and then the dogs, he's possessed by Zool or Gozer. I don't remember. And no, not Gozer. I'm getting he's Vince Clark, that's who he is. Anyway, that's what it's like trying to get into the middle class. Or if you're basically if you've ever been to a gas station and there's a unhoused or kind of some person who looks like they're going through struggles and they're just kind of hanging outside, scratching and asking for stuff. It feels like that. Hey, you guys got any mortgages I could have? Hey, just spot me one mortgage. But I can't get a mortgage to save my life. I went to a mortgage guy, a few years ago. I only had one job. He didn't like how much money I was making. So I came back with two jobs a couple years later, and I was like, hey, I got two jobs. And he was like, it's not enough. And then I was like, okay, well, cool. And then this last year I came back with three jobs. And he was like, it's not enough jobs, not enough money. And I was like, when will it be enough? And he was like, it will never be enough. Or at least that's what it felt like. So anyway, I've been trying to do that. To get into the middle class, I went to college, which it turns out you don't necessarily have to do to get in the middle class, which is contrary to what they told you in the late 90s, early 2000s. I thought that's what you had to do. But then, yes, in some cases, going to college can benefit you. I went to college wrong. I've talked about this on stage. All my friends were sweating and learning business and engineering and whatever pre-med things you study. And I was just coasting, and I was like, you guys are working too hard. Have you heard of sociology? Which is a bad decision, obviously. I was 18. They let you pick what you're going to do the rest of your life, and to go into colossal amounts of debt when you're 18 years old. Anyway, so I did that, and I had a degree in sociology and social work, and I was working very hard as a social worker and just had no money. And then I was talking to people about hey, what should I do? I got no money. And then they were like, you need more school. And I believed them, which is crazy. Anyway, because it's you guys told me to go to school in the first place. Now you're telling me more school. And so I did it. And then, surprise, surprise, I didn't make that much more money. And I was, and then I tried to get more school and I failed. Anyway, this is what people want to hear, an uplifting podcast. I failed out of a graduate program, and a lot of my family some of my family members had not gone to college. Some of them definitely had not gone on to graduate school. So they were pretty stoked to see me flame out of graduate school. And so I had to come back to my hometown in shame. And a couple of them kind of had some stuff to me oh, couldn't hack it. And even I have this one aunt who I really like. And even she was oh, it didn't go the way you thought it would go, huh? And I was I can't believe you two, Aunt Linda. Why are you talking to me this way? I was just trying to feed my family. So anyway, it's hard out here is what I'm saying. It's a weird time to be alive. I'm working very hard is what I'm saying. That's not to brag. I feel like everybody is working hard, and it seems like everything is just slated to only get more expensive. So it's a weird time, man. It feels hard to be encouraged, but it feels more easy to be discouraged. My wife is working hard. It's hard to get ahead anymore. But I don't know what else to say about that. Sometimes I feel really tired and wrung out, if you cut open my bones lengthwise, laterally, it feels like the marrow would be gone and it would just be red dust. Like, that's how tired I feel sometimes. Like, because you work and then you sleep and then I don't know, man. I have a lot of bills is what I'm saying. Not more than an average person. I'm not bragging, but people like to get money from me is what I'm saying. There's like lots of, anyway, I have bills and it's like, oh man, everything's so expensive. Rent goes up, everything goes up, car breaks. That's just how I feel. It's not, I know medically you can't have dust for bone marrow, but sometimes I feel that way. Just, trying my best, but best is not good enough. Anyway, haven't watched a lot of media this week. I watched a TV show called Ludwig, Ludwig, if you're fancy. It stars David Mitchell as twins. It's like a cute, like a cozy murder mystery. It has a lady from Bletchley Circle. If you watch Bletchley Circle, it's pretty funny. I laugh pretty hard at some of the time. I really enjoy the characters of David Mitchell. Really, it's just David Mitchell being David Mitchell, but it's really fun. It's good. It's got some good characters. It looks cool. I like British stuff. It's a good one. It was on Prime through like BritBox, I think. So as far as podcasts go, I don't know. I might have mentioned her before. Like Gabby Watts is a very funny stand-up from Georgia, and she has a podcast called American Filth, where she tells what she calls filthy stories from American history. Really, it's just like kind of all of these people who had affairs and did terrible things, but we know them as great historical figures. So it's a really interesting listen, and she's really funny. So I'd recommend American Filth. And then this will tie into my music recommendations / selections. Is there's a podcast called The Spin Doctors Archives, and it's done by a German guy who really likes the Spin Doctors. I guess the Spin Doctors are very big in Europe. And he keeps an archive of like a lot of Spin Doctors live performances and everything. And he goes back through all their history, and they go over the recording of every Spin Doctors album, which is fascinating. If you're into that kind of stuff, if you're into defending kind of goofy 90s bands like I am, like I'll go to war to defend the Spin Doctors, because it's like, if you've listened to the Spin Doctors, you don't like them, that's fine. But if you're just like lazily throwing them out as a punchline, like then I get mad. And on that subject of the Spin Doctors, what got me going back down memory lane with the Spin Doctors is they released a new album called Face Full of Cake, which is bananas that they still have, music coming out. And it's pretty good. Some of the stuff is like a little bit silly and on the nose, and like they're trying too hard. Like the Boombox song like really gets on my nerves. Like it seems a bit hacky, like it's Beneath You, Chris Barron. But the rest of it I really like, and I think it's good. Next is a band called Magnolia Park. And I know they're trendy and kind of TikTok friendly, but they're kind of like melodic metalcore. I don't know. It's pretty good. I mean, I feel like a poser listening to them, but it's quite a good album. It's called Vamp, I believe. It came out the second week of April or something. And it's really good. And it's on Epitaph. So, I mean, if you want some punk rock cred, there's Epitaph. Epitaph always, had punk bands, but then they were always hedging their bets with kind of like newer, more interesting sounding bands. Not more interesting, newer, different sounding bands than what you would expect from Epitaph. So they're legit. And then the last thing I'll talk about is OK Go. They have a new album called And the Adjacent Possible. And it's good. It's just like, it's a little bit like the slow, dreamy OK Go. And then again, I've listened to it once through, but maybe there's more upbeats parts, but it's like kind of like the slow, dreamy OK Go. Like the album, The Color of the Blue Sky or whatever, that came out after the other one that got really big. Oh man, I'm blanking on everything. Because there's OK Go. I think the first one was OK Go, and the next one was called Oh No. And both of those albums are just phenomenal. And then The Color of the Blue Sky kind of threw me for a loop because it was like more spacey and slow. But that's what this album reminds me of. But I do love OK Go, and it is pretty decent. So, I mean, I guess it just depends on what you're into. Also, I forgot to mention, I put the finishing touches on my Alien podcast. It's also counting down to the UFO festival. Decided to call it Aliens Should Wear Pants. I'll put an advertisement for here in the podcast feed. Hopefully no one takes offense at that. It's going to be 8 episodes for the 2 months counting down to the UFO festival. Just little snippets about different aspects of UFO research and culture that you could listen to in the car with your kids or by yourself or with your grandma. I don't know. So it's like pretty inoffensive and just a little bit generalist info about aliens. The first episode comes out May 12th. So anyway, that's all for this time. Hope everyone is doing good. Sorry for complaining. Thank you for listening. This has been Lists and Other Things That No One Asked For by Jesse Barbin. If you want to hang out with me, I'm at Jesse Barbin on all the things. Hope you have a good week.